Hello everyone, Election Watch Analysis here, and welcome to my 2022 Senate prediction. This is my first prediction of 2022, the year of the election itself. So it's pretty cool we're getting so close, and I'm excited to bring my prediction to you all. So let's start out with my 2022 Senate map. We'll start off with the safe state for the Republican Party. Of course, Idaho, Utah, North Dakota, South Dakota, Kansas, Oklahoma, and I believe Iowa and Missouri will be safe. Missouri, it may be closer potentially if Eric Greitens, who is a former governor who resigned due to scandal, is a nominee, but for now I'm going to put that in the safe margin. Kentucky, Alabama, South Carolina, Alaska, because it will likely be two Republicans in the runoff as Alaska uses ranked choice voting, so I'll count that as safe itself. So 45 safe seats for Republicans and 36 so far for Democrats without any safe seats so far. For Democrats, I believe the Pacific Coast will be safe. Oregon would be likely, however. Ron Wyden's a very strong candidate. He outperformed Hillary Clinton by around 10 points in 2016 and even outperformed Joe Biden's margin, 2020 presidential margin. So he'll be in a safe seat. Of course, the Eastern Seaboard, as usual, will be safe. New York, home state of Chuck Schumer, Senate Majority Leader, and Illinois and Hawaii as well. Illinois might be a little closer than usual. Tammy Duckworth had a very interesting coalition in 2016. She ran against a very moderate Republican in Mark Kirk, and she did pretty well in the rural areas of Illinois, very ancestral Democratic territory, so that's pretty interesting. She'll likely do better with the suburbs this time and worse with the rurals, though. So 45-45 tied currently. We'll go into likely states. Ohio, Wisconsin, North Carolina, and Florida will all be likely, in my opinion, for the GOP. So this is for the following reasons. Ohio, I think it could be safe. Josh Mandel is definitely a candidate who has a lot of draws to him. He's a very outspoken pro-Trump candidate. However, he says a few things that might turn off certain suburban voters that may not vote for him. He is going against Tim Ryan, who definitely in an older Ohio, one that was more Democratic, could definitely win. He's very pro-union, I believe, and could do better with certain Democratic voters that have been turned off by the Democrats in recent years. So against Josh Mandel, he might improve, but that's also kind of unlikely given that it will be a red wave year. North Carolina, similar reasons. It was actually likely in 2016 as well. 2016 was a very cursed map, as you can see, like Ohio and Iowa voted to the right of Kentucky and Indiana. Missouri, was very close as well. Very interesting map. So it was likely in 2016. I think Ted Budd is not Richard Burr, but he'll still do pretty well as compared to Richard Burr and will win by a likely margin. Wisconsin, Ron Johnson is running again. Very interesting. He said that he may not run before, but now he is. So Mandela Barnes, a Democratic frontrunner, has had a tax evasion scandal, which will definitely hurt him. Mandela Barnes is already a very progressive candidate. He's definitely going to win because Democrats in Wisconsin, that party is very progressive. They voted overwhelmingly for Bernie Sanders in 2016. And I believe Mandela Barnes will not do well for a few reasons. First of all, Democrats have a very unstable coalition in Wisconsin. Wisconsin could definitely go the way of Ohio and Iowa because a lot of the rural areas are not maxed out for the GOP. For example, in a lot of Rust Belt states like Michigan, Pennsylvania, Iowa, Ohio, Republicans are getting like 60-70% in rural areas. In Wisconsin, there are some pretty populated areas like the Driftless region where the counties are pretty close. Like they're likely margins. So I think those are going to continue shifting to the right, and Mandela Barnes is not the candidate who will win those areas. So I think Ron Johnson, also a pretty strong candidate depending on how he runs his campaign. He had a very good coalition in 2016. He outperformed Donald Trump in the suburbs. However, he underperformed Trump in the Driftless. He ran against a more populist candidate like Russ Feingold. But Mandela Barnes will not have neither the suburban nor working class appeal, so he will lose by a likely margin, in my opinion. Florida, Mark would be very, very popular. Potentially could win by a safe margin. He'll definitely could win Miami-Dade County as well. That might be an interesting thing to see. Democrats have no likely states, so we'll move on to the lean and tilt states. We'll start off with the states that have a lean by the largest margin, so they'll go to a certain party by around 4-5%. I think Colorado, Michael Bennet is a pretty strong candidate, actually. He outperformed Hillary Clinton in the southern areas and also the Denver suburbs, so I think now that polarization is catching up to the Denver suburbs, he'll gain from a boost there. He might not do as well in the rural areas as he did in 2016, but that will still help him, so he'll hold on. He might win by a likely margin if he runs his campaign well, or if his campaign for the presidency might hurt him with the voters in his home state, as it has with candidates in the past. So then another lean state is New Hampshire. This state was once a Republican flip, and I kept it as that for a while, even though I didn't make a prediction recently. I thought if John Sununu ran, it would be a flip. However, John Sununu has made no indication that he will run, and now a lot of no-name candidates are filling up the Republican primary. Could be a flip if one candidate gains a lot of name recognition over time, which has happened. For example, no one knew who Beto O'Rourke was in the beginning of 2018. So in New Hampshire, definitely possible flip. For now, I'm putting it as lean, but Maggie Hassan is still pretty unpopular, and I think that it could definitely become interesting. So now we have several states left. I think the lean states are Pennsylvania. Dr. Oz, a pretty well-known celebrity, is running. Dr. Oz is definitely a candidate who may have a lot of factors that will determine how well he does. So, for example, his celebrity status and name ID could help him. It seems like he's a little bit more moderate than Trump. He could run a very Glenn Youngkin type campaign, and that could help him. However, he has been a New Jersey resident for some time, I believe, and he's also pushed some theories about coronavirus that were not, that could definitely hurt him with some voters, like promoting hydroxychloroquine. I can't pronounce that word. I'm not even going to try to do that. So that might hurt him with voters. Now, it is not my place to give an opinion on that. However, I believe that could potentially hurt him. However, he's going against John Fetterman, a very progressive candidate. So, John Fetterman definitely, he's running a campaign that I believe, he's running a pretty good campaign so far, in my opinion. So, he is running with a more populist flair than progressive. He supports fracking, but he's also combining that with an economically left and a socially liberal platform, so that could help him, potentially. However, he definitely can get attacks for being a socialist or a progressive or too far left, and those seem to stick in places like Pennsylvania, where suburbs are key to Democrats winning. And it does not look like John Fetterman's going to gain in the more rural working class areas. That's pretty unlikely, given polarization. Maybe in 2018 that could have happened, but not in 2022. Another lean state, and this state will put the Republicans as the Senate majority, is Georgia. Now, this state was probably wouldn't be as close if Herschel Walker didn't have as many scandals. However, I believe the red wave environment will help him win. Raphael Warnock is a decent candidate, and he definitely could make this state closer than I have it as now. However, still, I think the red wave will help Herschel Walker win. I think that what we're going to see is that candidates who would not win otherwise will be pushed over the edge by the red wave, and we'll get to that a little later in states like Arizona and Nevada, which are our last two states. So both these states I'm going to characterize the same. I think they'll both be tilt Republican, and here are the reasons why. So the reason why I'm having Arizona vote to the left of Georgia, even though I think as states Georgia will be going to the left of Arizona, is because Mark Kelly is an exceptionally strong candidate. He's a very good fundraiser, and theoretically in 2020 it was a Democratic favoring year. It was not a blue wave by any means. Theoretically, with a bad candidate like Martha McSally, he shouldn't have carried it by around 3 points, and we can look at his exact margin so I don't get that wrong. So in 2020, he won by 2.3%. And that's pretty good, given that that's 2 points more than Joe Biden. And Joe Biden was running against a candidate, Donald Trump, who was not great for Arizona. So theoretically, Mark Kelly shouldn't have won by as much. So I think he's a pretty strong candidate, good fundraiser, high name ID. He's also very moderate, good fit for the state. He's running against either Blake Masters, who's very populist and may not be a great fit for the state, especially when Republicans need to gain in the suburbs, or Mark Brnovich, who is a good candidate. However, he does not have the Trump endorsement, which may hurt him. So Mark Kelly could pull through a surprising win, maybe an upset, potentially, if the environments are right. Nevada, a state that I believe is trending to the right overall, but rather slowly. It's pretty inelastic, and the candidates are Catherine Cortez Masto, who did better than Hillary Clinton, I believe, in Clark County, home of Las Vegas, and outran Biden with Hispanics. However, she didn't do as well in Washoe County, which is a more moderate suburban county. So I think that Adam Laxalt, her main opponent, who is definitely an average candidate, will benefit from the red environment, and he's one of those candidates who probably wouldn't win otherwise, but given the red environment, he will in this case. So that leaves it as 53 for Republicans, 47 for Democrats. So yeah, thank you all for watching. I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like, comment your prediction, and subscribe for more content like this, and check out my channel for my other election nights. I hope you enjoy those. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time.